The stars were calm. The space around planet Sigma 3 was quiet and cold. Nothing strange had happened here for years, but now something felt wrong. Captain Ilara sat in her command chair inside the small Earth medical ship Mercy 1. She was not a soldier. She was a healer, trained to save lives, not take them. Her crew was small, only 12 people. Doctors, engineers, and medics. They were returning home after helping at a mining colony. It was supposed to be a quiet trip. Then the signal came. "Captain, we're picking up a distress call," said Lieutenant Halen, her communications officer. His face looked confused. "It's weak, very weak, and it's old technology, not human. Can you trace it?" Ilara asked. Halen shook his head. "Not clearly. It's bouncing through strange echoes, like someone once had heard but not tracked." Ilara stood and walked to the main screen. A red dot blinked in the darkness. The signal repeated again and again, just 3 words in a strange alien language. The translator barely picked it up. "Help. Trapped. Dying." The room went quiet. They were a rescue ship. This was what they were trained to do. But something about this felt wrong. Too perfect. Too clean. "Where is it coming from?" Ilara asked. "Just outside the anchor belt," Halen said. "Deep space. No known colonies or stations." Engineer Vale stepped forward. He was older, with gray in his beard. "That area is empty. No trade routes. No life signs. Why would anyone be out there?" Ilara looked at her crew. "We're closest. If someone is really out there and needs help, we must check. We'll go in carefully. Stay alert. No risks we don't understand." The ship changed course. Engines hummed softly as Mercy 1 moved toward the unknown signal. Time passed slowly. The stars outside the windows felt colder than before. 2 hours later, they arrived. There was nothing. No ship, no wreckage. Just the signal, still playing from empty space. "Check for cloaking tech," Ilara said. "No signs," Halen replied. "It's like the signal is coming from a ghost." Vale frowned. "Captain, this doesn't feel right. It could be a trap." "Or a broken emergency beacon," Ilara said. "We'll scan deeper." Suddenly, alarms screamed. "Unknown ships just jumped in," shouted Halen. 4 vessels. No ID. No hails. They're surrounding us. "Shields up," Ilara shouted. Mercy 1 was a medical ship. It had only light shields. No weapons. No way to fight. The unknown ships moved fast, circling like wolves. One of them charged and hit the side of Mercy 1. Sparks flew. Lights flickered. The crew screamed. "We're being boarded," Vale shouted. "Lock the medbay. Everyone fall back to the core," Ilara ordered. The power dimmed. Red lights flashed. The ship shook as metal tore. Heavy footsteps echoed from the lower decks. Something was coming aboard. Ilara grabbed the emergency radio. "This is Mercy 1. We are under attack. Hostile ships. Unknown origin. Request immediate help. This is not a drill." But no reply came. Just static. Then a voice came through the speakers. Not from her crew. Not from Earth. A deep, cold voice. "You answered the call. That was your mistake." The line cut. Fear froze the crew. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't pirates. This was a trap. A perfect trap meant to pull in a rescue ship like them. Ilara backed away as shadows moved near the main door. She turned to her crew, her friends, and saw the fear in their eyes. But she also saw something else. Determination. "We don't give up," she said, voice firm. "We protect each other, no matter what." Outside the ship, the enemy vessels held position. Silent, watching. And somewhere deep in Earth's space, that final broken message from Mercy 1 blinked on a screen. "We're under attack. They knew we were coming." Then silence. Back on Earth, in the command center of United Earth Fleet, everything was calm. until the red light started flashing. Commander Reese stood up from his desk. His eyes narrowed as the emergency alarm rang through the large room. The signal was coming from Mercy One, a rescue ship, a peaceful ship. "What's happening?" Reese asked. His officers worked fast. One of them turned around with a pale face. "It's Mercy One, sir." Final message received. Broken transmission. Then, nothing. "Play it," Reese ordered. The room went quiet. A voice came through the speakers, Captain Ilara's voice. It was full of static, but her fear was clear. "We're under attack. They knew we were coming. Not pirates. They waited for us." Then a strange, deep voice followed. "You answered the call. That was your mistake." After that, silence. No signal. No location. No movement. Mercy One had vanished. Commander Reese clenched his jaw. That ship had no weapons. They were medics. Another officer turned to them. "Sir, this wasn't a random attack. Someone set a trap." Reese stared at the screen, and they wanted Earth to walk right into it. He walked to the center of the room and tapped a button on the main control table. "Send out a fleet alert. Highest level. Lock all signals in and out. Prepare for a Fury-class response. We are not letting this go." On a moon near the edge of human space, a secret Earth satellite had picked up something strange right before the Mercy One vanished. An image, blurry, low quality, but still clear enough to cause fear. 4 ships, unknown design. Sharp edges, black metal, no markings. They were fast and heavily armed. No known alien race used this kind of tech. No records in any database. Reese stared at the image. Zoom in on the lead ship. The computer obeyed. A closer image appeared. It had strange symbols on the hull, not from any known language. A scientist beside him said softly, "That's not pirate tech. This is military grade, but it's not from any nation we know." Reese nodded, and that's the problem. He pressed a button. A message was sent to all senior fleet officers. Code read, "Medical vessel destroyed in unknown ambush. Unknown warships. High-level threat. Earth's response is underway." At a meeting inside the Earth Security Council, some leaders wanted to talk. Others wanted to wait. "Maybe it was a misunderstanding," said one diplomat. Reese's voice cut through the room like steel. "There was no mistake. They waited for us. They set a trap using a fake distress signal. They knew exactly what we'd do." A general agreed. The message was clear. They think we're weak. They think we'll do nothing. Reese stood tall. "Then let's show them they're wrong." He walked to the large map on the wall. "The Fury-class fleet is closest. They'll respond. No warning. No broadcast. We go in, find who did this, and bring our people home or bring justice." In deep space, the Fury-class fleet was already powering up. The lead ship was called Vengeance, a powerful Earth destroyer with heavy weapons and smart shields. Its captain, Commander Rourke, was known for being cold, smart, and dangerous. He had read the report. He had heard Ilara's broken message, and he had made his decision. She called for help. Rourke said to his crew, "We don't leave our own behind." He walked through the ship's halls as soldiers and pilots ran to stations. Fighters were being loaded. Drones were armed. Medical units were being prepared for rescue or war. "We won't ask questions," Rourke said to his officers. "We'll find the ones who did this, and we'll make sure they remember what happens when you touch an Earth rescue team." Back in Earth Command, a final signal was sent to all nearby alien allies. "Earth rescue vessel Mercy One has been attacked. Unknown enemy. No warning. No survivors confirmed. Earth fleet is responding. This is not an act of war, unless someone makes it one." Some allies supported Earth. Others warned them not to act fast. "Find the facts," they said. "Do not escalate." But Earth had already made its choice. The rescue signal was fake. The attack was real. And now, Earth's fury was coming. The stars around the anchor belt were quiet again. No sign of Mercy One. No wreckage. No signal. Nothing. But that silence was about to break. From the black void of space, Earth's Fury-class fleet jumped in without warning. 5 powerful warships appeared like ghosts, led by the destroyer Vengeance. Their engines burned bright. Their weapons were armed. No music, no message, just cold steel and purpose. Commander Rourke stood on the bridge of Vengeance. His face showed no fear, only focus. "Scan the area," he ordered. "Any sign of Mercy One, debris, or hostiles?" Lieutenant Farah answered, "No debris. No life signals. No enemy ships. But there's something odd." "What?" "Space dust patterns are wrong," she said. "Like something moved fast, then stopped. And the radiation trail, it's fresh. Less than 12 hours old." "Cloaked ships," Work muttered. He looked at the screen, then turned to his crew. "They're still here, watching us. Let them." The fleet moved in formation, scanning every direction. Stealth drones flew out, quiet and fast, checking nearby space. One drone flew near a dark asteroid, then vanished. "Drone lost," Farah said. "Signal cut instantly." "They're testing us," Work said. "Same tactic as the trap. Slow, quiet, clever." "Should we wait?" Farah asked. Work shook his head. "No, we came for a reason." He turned to weapons control. "Prepare echo burst. Let's knock on the door." A deep hum filled the ship as the echo burst powered up. It was not a weapon. It was a shockwave of sound and signal, strong enough to break cloaks and jam stealth systems. "Fire," Work ordered. The ship shook slightly as the burst went out. A pulse of invisible force spread across space. For a second, nothing. Then flashes. 5 enemy ships appeared out of the dark. Their cloaks failed. Their hulls were black and jagged like sharp knives in the sky. The same ships that attacked Mercy One. "They're here," Farah said. "Weapons locked on us." "Good," Work replied. "Weapons, lock back." The enemy moved fast. 2 ships shot forward, firing energy bolts at Vengeance. But the Earth fleet was ready. Shields flared blue as blasts hit, but they held strong. "Return fire," Work shouted. Vengeance and the other Earth ships fired as one. Bright lights flashed. Explosions lit up the dark. One alien ship took a direct hit and spun out of control. Another lost its rear engine and drifted, burning. Inside Vengeance, Work watched closely. "They're good. They're not pirates. These are trained pilots. Military level." The enemy pulled back. One ship exploded. Another turned and vanished into the stars. The last 2 stayed behind, protecting something. "Why are they guarding that asteroid?" Farah asked. Work's eyes narrowed. "That's where the trap came from." He turned to the screen. "Send in the drones. If Mercy One is there, we bring them out. If it's a base, we take it down." Far below the asteroid's surface, deep inside a hidden tunnel, Captain Elara was still alive. Her hands were tied. Her uniform was torn, but her eyes burned with strength. Her crew was trapped with her, locked in cages by the unknown enemy. They had been taken from Mercy One, brought here in silence. The aliens didn't speak. They just studied, scanned, and watched. "They're testing us," Elara whispered to Dr. Liam beside her. "They wanted to see how we react, how Earth responds." Dr. Liam nodded. "They wanted to poke the bear." Suddenly, the ground shook. Explosions. Gunfire. Elara looked up. "They're here." The enemy guards ran out, speaking in their strange language. Sirens blared through the alien base. Lights flickered. Then, a loud boom, and the cage door flew open. Earth Marines stormed in. Black armor, blue visors, weapons ready. "Elara keen?" One shouted. "Yes," she answered. "Captain Rourke sent us," he said. "We're getting you out." Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't cry. She stood tall. Let's go. They moved fast through smoke and fire. Earth drones flew overhead. Some Marines stayed behind to cover the exit. Others fought the last enemy guards. One Marine handed Alara a comm. She heard Rourke's voice. "Captain Keen, are you alive?" "Alive," she replied, "and angry." Rourke chuckled. "Good. Let's bring you home." As the Earth fleet pulled back from the asteroid, 2 enemy ships remained, watching from a distance, but not attacking. Commander Rourke looked at them on screen. "They could fought more," he said quietly. "But they didn't." Farah asked, "Why?" Rourke didn't blink. "Because this was only a test, and now they have their answer." Back on Earth, the rescue of Mercy One's crew had spread like wildfire. News channels called it a miracle. Social media exploded with messages of support, anger, and fear. But inside Earth Command, things were far from calm. Captain Alara Keen walked into the main briefing room still wearing a borrowed uniform. Her face showed signs of exhaustion, but her voice was steady. Commander Reese stood and saluted her. "You did well, Captain. We thought you were gone." Alara sat across from him. "We should have been. If it weren't for Rourke's response, we would be." The room was filled with high-ranking officers, scientists, and intelligence experts. They had one question. Who were the attackers? Alara took a deep breath. "They never spoke to us. They didn't even try to explain. They scanned us, took samples, studied our crew like we were animals. They were waiting for Earth to come." "Waiting?" Reese asked. "How do you mean?" "They faked a distress call," she said. "They knew how we'd respond, that we wouldn't ignore a cry for help. They knew about our rescue protocols." An intelligence officer leaned forward. "Are you saying they'd studied us first?" "Yes," Alara said firmly. "They knew just enough. Not too much, but enough to set the perfect trap." Reese looked around the room. So this wasn't just an attack, it was a message. The head of Sino Relations, Dr. Harker, stood up. "We ran the symbols found on their ships, not in any known database. But one match came close, ancient ruins found on a dead moon in the Zirin sector. A race we believed long gone." Everyone leaned in. Harker continued, "They were called the Vakar, a powerful species that disappeared thousands of years ago. Now it seems they're back." On the Bridge of Vengeance, Commander Rourke watched a replay of the battle. Every detail, every explosion, every maneuver. Farah stood beside him. "We lost 2 drones. Minor damage to the hull. But their tech, it's beyond what we've seen." "I noticed," Rourke said. "They hit hard, but pulled back when we responded." "They didn't want war," Farah said. "They wanted to see our reaction." Rourke nodded, and they saw it. He turned to the communication officer. "Send this to Earth Command. Rescue complete. Enemy still unknown. Highly organized. Watching us. This was not the real battle. Just a test." Back at Earth Command, after hours of talking, the room fell silent. Then a deep voice spoke from the shadows. It was General Corrin, leader of Earth's military defense. "I've seen wars, fought many. But I've never seen an enemy bait us like this. They wanted us to come. They wanted to test our strength, our speed, our emotions." He walked slowly, looking at each person. "They learned one thing. We protect our own, no matter the cost." Captain Alara stood. "But that's not enough. We need to be ready, because they're not finished." Dr. Harker nodded. "She's right. If this was a first step, the next one won't be a test. It'll be real." Reese looked at them all. "Then we prepare. Starting now." A message was sent from Earth to all colonies, fleets, and allies. Unidentified alien force used a false rescue signal to trap and capture an Earth medical team. This was not a random act. The enemy is organized, intelligent, and possibly ancient. Earth will respond with full readiness. All ships to alert status. The age of peace may be over. In a hidden part of space, far from Earth, the remaining enemy ships floated near a strange black station. Inside, tall shadowy figures watched holograms of the Earth ships. A voice echoed in their language. They are not like the others. They respond quickly, emotionally, together. Another replied. Their reaction was violent, unexpected. A third voice spoke calmly. Then phase 1 is complete. Let them believe they scared us away. Let them prepare. The first one added, when they are comfortable, we begin phase 2. The holograms faded. The room went dark. Back on Earth, Captain Elara stood on a balcony outside Earth Command. She looked up at the stars. Dr. Leon joined her. Do you think they'll come back soon? Elara didn't answer right away. Then she said softly, they didn't expect us to come with fire. But now they know we will. Next time they won't test us. They'll try to break us. Dr. Leon sighed. Then we better be unbreakable. Elara nodded. We will be. Because we don't just survive. We fight. And somewhere far out in the dark, something was watching Earth, quietly waiting. Far beyond the edge of human space, the dark station came alive. The strange alien race that had tested Earth was not gone. They were watching, learning, preparing. Inside the black station, shadowy figures stood around a large glowing table. On it, a map of human space showed planets, colonies, and patrol paths. One of the figures pointed at a red circle near the edge. This colony, it said in a deep hissing voice, small, weakly defended, close to their trade routes. Another nodded. Phase 2 begins here. Strike without warning. Leave no survivors. Then, disappear again. A third added, let them fear the silence. The lights dimmed. The attack was set. At Earth Command, Captain Elara Keen stared at a growing list of reports. More strange readings, faint signals, brief sensor pings near distant colonies. Each one dismissed as space noise. But she didn't believe that. She entered the war room and found Commander Reese. I think they're moving, she said. Reese raised an eyebrow. We haven't seen anything yet. That's the problem, she said. They don't move like other enemies. They hide, wait, then strike fast. He leaned forward. You think phase 2 has started? I know it, she said. Reese nodded. Then we need to catch them in the act. On the colony of Vega 12, life was peaceful. Farmers worked the fields under 2 suns. Children played near the river. No one thought about war. They believed Earth would protect them. Then the sky changed. Without warning, 10 black ships appeared above the colony. No message, no warning, just a flash of light, and then the first building exploded. Panic spread fast. Alarms screamed. People ran. Governor Ilias rushed to the communication tower. This is Vega 12. We are under attack. Unknown ships. We need help now. But the enemy was jamming signals. Black drones fell from the sky. They scanned people, machines, even the animals, then moved on. They weren't just killing. They were collecting information again. A farmer with an old hunting rifle shot at one of the drones. The drone paused, turned, and disintegrated him with a beam of light. No mercy, no communication, just cold, silent death. The signal barely reached Earth Command, but it was enough. Vega 12 is under attack, the officer shouted. Elara and Reese exchanged a look. Scramble the Vengeance, Reese ordered, and tell Rourke to take it personally. Commander Rourke was already aboard the Vengeance when the alert came in. Vega 12, he muttered, so they're back. He looked at his crew. We're not rescuing anyone this time. We're sending a message. The ship launched at top speed. Inside, weapons charged. Drones were prepped. The crew wore battle armor. No one joked. No one smiled. This time, Earth would not wait. This time, they would hit back before it was too late. By the time Vengeance arrived, Vega 12 was burning. Half the colony was destroyed. The rest was silent. Not even a distress signal now. Scan for survivors, work ordered. None, the officer replied. They're all gone. Farah spoke quietly. It's just like before. But worse. Work stared at the black ships above the ruins. They were still there, waiting. Target them all, he said. No warnings. Vengeance opened fire. Missiles streaked through the sky. Laser beams cut through the air. The enemy ships responded fast, but this time Earth had learned. The fight was brutal. 2 Earth drones were lost. 1 enemy ship exploded. Another crashed into the forest. But then, just like last time, the black ships vanished. Instant retreat. No trace, just silence. Work stood on the bridge, fists clenched. They wanted us to see this, he said. They wanted us to know what's coming. Back on Earth, Elora listened to the audio from Vega 12, screams, explosions, static. She turned to Reese. It's not about winning or losing. They want to scare us, make us react. Reese nodded. They're testing more than our weapons. They're testing our will. She replied, then let's show them it's stronger than ever. In the shadows of the Black Station, the alien leaders spoke again. They responded as expected. Fast, aggressive, protective. Another added, but they burned too hot, too emotional. A third one said, we will keep pressing, testing, until they crack. Then the tallest one spoke, or until they show us something even we did not expect. The others fell silent. In her room, Delara opened a file, a classified one. Project, Silence Protocol. It was something Earth had planned long ago. A last resort. A message to anyone who dared push too far. She stared at the screen and whispered, maybe it's time we stop just responding and start planning our own test. On Earth, the attack on Vega 12 had shaken the foundations of every major government. The colony was gone, wiped off the map in mere hours. The enemy, though powerful and silent, had shown their true colors, ruthless, cold, and calculating. They had not just attacked. They had tested Earth's response, proving their ability to hurt without warning and vanish before the enemy could strike back. But inside Earth Command, there was something else brewing, something long hidden. Captain Elara Keene sat alone in her office, reviewing the data from the last few weeks. Reports of unusual activity were growing. The enemy was testing them, pushing them closer to the edge. But Elara knew the truth. Earth was not unprepared. There was a plan buried deep within the command's archives, a final strategy, the Silence Protocol. Commander Reese entered her office, closing the door behind him. You've been quiet lately. What's going on, Elara? She didn't look up. Her fingers tapped rapidly across her console. We're playing their game, and we're losing. Reese raised an eyebrow. Losing? I thought we gave them a taste of their own medicine at Vega 12. Elara turned to face him. You think that was enough? We're only reacting. We're being tested in ways we don't even fully understand. They want us to chase them, to burn with anger and fear. If we keep going like this, we'll fall into their trap. Reese sighed and leaned against the doorframe. So what do we do? Just sit back and wait? Elara's voice grew colder. No. We turn the tables. We make them play by our rules. But for that, we need to activate the Silence Protocol. Reese's expression darkened. That's classified. No one even remembers it. Exactly, Elara replied. But it's the only chance we have left. We need to stop reacting and start planning an offensive of our own. Far away in deep space, aboard the Black Station, the Vakar were observing Earth's movements. They watched the battle footage from Vega 12, studying the Earth ship's tactics. But something was different this time. They could feel it. The humans were angry, yes. But they were also becoming smarter, more deliberate. They react like a force of nature, one of the Vakar commanders remarked. Like fire. It is difficult to predict. Another replied, fire burns hot. but it eventually dies down. The leader of the Vakar, a tall figure with sharp, glowing eyes, stepped forward. We must take advantage of this, push them further, stretch their limits, but we must be careful. They will eventually learn, and when they do, we need to be ready. Back on Earth, Ilara stood at the command center, overlooking the war room. A large holographic map of human space flickered before her. It was time to act. Time to show the enemy that Earth was not a victim, but a force to be reckoned with. Reese entered, carrying a secure data chip. "You were right," he said, handing it to her. "The protocol's ready. We've activated the silence protocol across the fleet." Elrod inserted the chip into the console. A set of coordinates and data streams appeared on the screen. "The protocol will shut down communication across our forces. No signals, no messages, no warnings, just direct action." Reese frowned. "No warnings? That's risky." Ilara met his gaze. "It's the only way to catch them off guard. We need to show them that we can act without hesitation. If we wait too long, we lose. They want us to falter. They want us to overthink. But we won't." Deep within the enemy station, a Vakar scout ship picked up something unusual. A faint signal coming from the direction of Earth. It was weak but deliberate. The scout sent the data back to the Vakar leaders, who watched in silence as the message unfolded. "The humans are sending a message," one of the commanders said. "They are preparing something." The leader's eyes narrowed. "We must strike first. We cannot let them take control of the situation. Prepare the fleet." The fleet that had attacked Vega 12 now moved in closer to Earth's borders. The Vakar were confident. They were strong. And they had the element of surprise. But what they didn't know was that Earth was already waiting. Captain Ilara Keen stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, looking out at the dark expanse of space. The silence protocol had been activated. No communications, no warning shots. This was their chance to strike first. This time, the human fleet wasn't just responding. They were the ones making the move. "Ready the drones," Ilara ordered. "We're not going to play their game anymore." The Vengeance and its fleet moved silently, approaching the Vakar's position. Their sensors were set to maximum, but still they couldn't detect the fleet in the dark. It was the perfect trap. The silence protocol worked. No communications meant the enemy couldn't predict their movements. They were blind. The Vakar fleet approached Earth's outer defense line, unaware that they were walking into a carefully laid trap. They expected a reaction, Earth's usual predictable response, but instead they found themselves surrounded by a sudden and overwhelming force. "Alert! The humans are attacking." One of the Vakar commanders shouted as their ships were hit by sudden bursts of fire. Too late. The battle erupted in the silence of space. Earth's fleet struck with precision, hitting the Vakar ships hard and fast. The humans had finally moved beyond reaction. They were now the hunters, not the prey. Back on Earth, Commander Reese watched the battle unfold on a screen in the command center. He turned to Ilara. "We've done it. The Vakar didn't see this coming." Ilara's eyes remained focused on the screen. "This is just the beginning. But it's a message. We're not just waiting anymore." Reese nodded. "We've shown them that Earth fights back." Ilara's expression hardened. "And we'll keep fighting until they realize that we are the ones they should fear." The battle in space raged on. Earth's fleet, armed with the surprise of the silence protocol, struck fast and hard against the Vakar ships. The enemy, unprepared for the sudden onslaught, tried to fight back, but their tactics were slow and ineffective. Earth had taken the initiative, and the Vakar were scrambling to respond. On the Vengeance, Captain Ilara Keen watched the chaos unfold from the bridge. The enemy fleet was retreating, but not without leaving a trace. Their ships were damaged, and their defensive lines had crumbled. Earth had proven that it could strike first, and now the Vakar knew the truth. Humanity was not a weakling to be tested. It was a force to be reckoned with. "Commander Rourke," Ilara said, turning to the man beside her. "What's the status of the enemy fleet?" Work glanced at the monitor. They're scattering, Captain. A few ships are making a break for it, but the majority are either destroyed or disabled. We've crippled their attack force. Ilara nodded. Keep the pressure on them. No mercy. We can't let them regroup. Across the galaxy, the Vakar leadership was in turmoil. Their carefully laid plans had been upended. Their silent strikes, meant to instill fear and uncertainty, had failed. The humans had acted decisively and without hesitation. We underestimated them, the Vakar leader said, his voice cold. They are not like the other species we've encountered. They are dangerous. Another Vakar commander spoke up. Should we retreat? Regroup? Our forces are scattered. The leader's eyes glowed darkly. No. If we retreat, they'll only grow stronger. We need to finish this now. If we can't break their will in this battle, we will never break them. Prepare the final strike. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Reese stood before a holographic display, showing the remaining Vakar ships fleeing deeper into space. His face was grim. They're not giving up. They'll return. Ilara, watching from the command center, clenched her fists. I know. But this time, we're not waiting for them. We'll end this. On our terms. We can't afford to lose, Reese said. If the Vakar regroup, they'll come back stronger. We need to push them back completely. Ilara turned, determination in her eyes. We will. The silence protocol isn't just a defensive measure. It's our way of showing them that we control the timing. They can't dictate when we fight. Far in the distance, the Vakar prepared their final attack. They had one last card to play, a weapon so devastating, they had only used it in the most extreme circumstances. It was designed to wipe out entire fleets with a single deadly strike. If Earth was to win, they needed to stop this weapon before it was launched. The Vakar leader, cold and calculating, spoke to his fleet. We have failed to break the humans in this first phase, but they will not survive the next. Launch the Devastator. The Devastator was a weapon unlike anything humanity had ever faced. Its power could shatter entire planets, and the Vakar had it in their possession. Earth's only hope was to disable the weapon before it was fired. Back at Earth Command, the situation was growing tense. Ilara's mind raced as she watched the Vakar fleet retreating into the depths of space. The Vakar had launched their final weapon, but it was still a few hours away from reaching its target. Time was running out. We need to intercept it, Ilara said, her voice urgent. If we don't stop the Devastator, we'll lose everything. We can't let them launch it. Commander Rourke said, his voice tense. We've detected the Devastator. It's on a direct course for Earth. If we don't stop it now, it will reach our outer defense lines in less than an hour. Ilara looked at the clock on the wall. The countdown had begun. Ready the fleet, she ordered. We'll intercept it before it can launch. No more waiting. This ends now. The Vengeance and the rest of Earth's fleet raced toward the enemy's final weapon. The distance was vast, but the time was even more critical. The Devastator was now close enough to begin its descent into Earth's outer defenses. If it reached the planet, it would unleash destruction on a scale that humanity had never seen before. All ships prepare for full assault, Ilara commanded. We can't afford to lose. As the fleet neared the Devastator, a sudden realization hit Ilara. This wasn't just about defeating the Vakar. It was about sending a message to every enemy who had underestimated humanity. The Vakar had made one fatal mistake. They thought Earth was weak. They thought humans would fall back into fear and chaos. But they had shown that Earth was a force to be reckoned with. The silence that had once been their weakness was now their strength. The final battle erupted in the cold void of space. Earth's fleet launched everything they had at the Vakar's remaining ships and their weapon. The Devastator fired once, but the shot missed, intercepted by Earth's drones in a desperate last-ditch effort. The Vakar fleet scrambled to retaliate, but they were too slow. The humans had won. On Earth, the relief was palpable. The enemy had been repelled. The Vakar were defeated. Their final weapon had been destroyed before it could be used. Captain Elara Keen stood before her crew, exhaustion written across her face. We did it. The Vakar have learned that we do not run. We do not hide. We fight until the end. Reese stepped forward, his face hard. The enemy is broken, but we'll always be ready for whatever comes next. Elara nodded, her gaze unwavering. This victory is ours, but the message is clear. Don't ever think Earth will fall. The Vakar fleet was shattered. Their forces were scattered, their final weapon destroyed. Earth had proven itself stronger, faster, and smarter. The Silence Protocol had turned their greatest weakness into their strongest weapon. And now the galaxy knew that humanity was not just a force to be reckoned with. It was a force that would never back down.